The North Central College women's basketball team lost to the conference third-place team Carthage 54-67 this past Saturday. After the game, we had a chance to speak with Carthage coach Tim Bernero, forwards Rosie Dorn and Katie Yeager, Cardinal forward Meghan McGuire, and guard Gia Navarro.
We knew going into this game it was going to be really physical, especially after the last game. And North Central is always a physical game, so we knew if we got them on the rebounds, we didn't let them overtake us on that, we would be in pretty good shape again this game.
North Central has a great team. They work hard, they pressure us. They've always been a great battle to come in here and work against us.
We got the momentum back and started making a run, and we got within a couple of points, and then it just, defensively, we kept up and we kept their score low so that we stayed in it, but offensively we just got in a lull and couldn't make shots. We were taking good shots, but they just weren't falling for us.
We wanted to speed them up a little bit because they do the same thing. Parra and McGuire and their inside players are so good that we wanted to make the game fast on the defensive end, so they had to hurry and not get into their stuff. And then when we got it, we tried to get set up and do what we wanted to in the half court.
We got to stay focused on what we need to do to win, and we got to do it as a team. We can't do it as individuals. And when we get away from the team, aspect of it and not executing as a team, then, that's when things start falling apart.
There's so many teams in this race right now. I mean, there's 2 that are out and there's 6 in it. The first spot, like I said, settled. Now it's just kind of a jumble, and it's how these games between Carthage and North Central and Elmhurst and Wheaton and Milliken play out that'll decide this.
Jessica Davis leads the team with 33 three-pointers made. The junior started in all but 1 game last year while shooting 30% from beyond the arc. Jessica, last year you started all but 1 game. This year you started in 8 of 21 games. Does it really matter if you're starting or coming off the bench?
Well, in the beginning, it did matter. I was a little down on myself because, I thought I played bad or, I wasn't playing as hard as the coaches wanted me to. But at the end, they told me it's just about who finishes the game. It's not about who starts the game. And they wanted me to be a spark, and I tried my best to be a spark off the bench.
Yeah, and coming in off the bench, you find yourself oftentimes, like you say, providing that spark. How do you go about doing that?
Sometimes I just try to come in there, just run really fast down the court to get a fast break, or just play tough defense, fluster my opponents.
You play great defense. You may be one of the better defenders on the team. You also lead the team in three-point attempts. Does that affect you much when you're pressuring a point guard in the back court? You're going with her step for step all the way down the court, and then you're trying to create shots, for yourself on the offensive end.
Well, sometimes I don't have my legs under me, but it depends on how well my defense is, because then I get the adrenaline rush, and then it's like legs don't even matter. Sometimes I don't even know I'm shooting threes when I'm shooting them.
When you have your best three-point shooting games, what do you kind of attribute that to?
Well, we have good post players, and the other teams are trying to focus on them, and sometimes that's good for me because then they forget about, oh, we have a shooter out here, so then I have an open shot, and then I just hit the shot sometimes.
You played for Whitney Young in Chicago. It's a really good girls basketball program. Coming here to North Central College in your first 3 years, was it hard not being a dominant team like you played for in high school?
Well, it was totally a different atmosphere, but at the same time, we were in a lot of our games that we didn't win. So, it was right down to the wire, and half the time we were only playing 5 people or 6 players, and sometimes those good games that last like 40 minutes of good playing basketball, it gets tiring. So.
Have you ever regretted your decision to come to North Central College?
No.
Been a good experience?
Yeah.
Meghan McGuire started 14 games as a freshman, averaging 7 points and 3 rebounds a game while shooting a team best 55% from the field. Meghan, you have not slowed down at all. You're the team leader in blocks. You're 3rd in the conference. Your field goal percentage is 2nd in the conference.
Yeah, it's just been a really, it seems like it's gone by so fast, but it's been a great season, and I just feel like if I come out every game, doesn't matter if I'm not scoring, I'll get it back the next game or something, but as long as I'm rebounding and, running around on defense, I feel like it's a good game.
You're shooting 58% from the field. You've raised your percentage points 6 points in the last 2 games. You're 2nd in the CCIW, like we just said. Are you playing your best basketball of the year right now?
I think so. I really do. Recently, I've kind of got into a little slump a couple of weeks ago where either I wasn't taking shots or I was taking a lot and not making them, which for me is not something I like to do. So to get back on right here at the end of the season has really been great, and I do think it's the better week of basketball.
In blocks, that's a stat that you don't see too much in women's basketball, but you've been able to put some together. Just kind of talk about that as a statistical category in women's basketball. Just not too often does it happen, or?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times we're always told we don't want to be fouling, so a lot of the time it's like stand straight, you know, try not to catch a foul, but sometimes it's just, you know, we can jump too. Just because we're women doesn't mean we can't, and so it's just that I feel like sometimes I'm just getting beat, so I'm trying to get back and I end up getting it from behind. But I feel like it's a stat that is going to keep improving as women become more and more athletic and getting into different training programs.
And your roommate is Jackie Arico. You guys are both sophomores playing great basketball. Do you think guys kind of feed off each other on and off the court?
Yeah, I mean, it really seems like it's basketball all the time, because we'll just be in our room and one of us will be like, oh my gosh, that game on Saturday or something. And it just feels like the two of us, we can really like talk about basketball off the court, and then when we're on it, we've got a good like combination going, because she's outside, I'm inside, so we're able to work together and get things done, and it feels like it's been really great, just the two of us working together both on and off the court.
Absolutely. In a game of runs, the Cardinals came up short Saturday versus Carthage. Here are the plays of the week from the game with the Lady Red. All right, here, Cards with Brianne Parr coming up with the steal, getting the Cardinals on the board here. It's 4-2 at this point. Nice little up and under. Now in the second half, this is a missed three-pointer. Parr comes up with the rebound, hits Jackie Arico. Baseline jumper. Moments later, this Jessica Davis putting on the pressure, comes up with the turnover and converts on the other end. Jessica, as we were talking, that was another big play right there. And sometimes a play like that can help spark a 10-0 run for the Cardinals' sake. But it wasn't really, it was happening this game, but it wasn't happening. Can you just kind of talk about last Saturday?
Well, you know, our defense was kind of iffy, you know, in the backcourt sometimes, and we just really couldn't stop them from shooting, and they were hitting every shot they took, and that was just the biggest, like, shot in the foot for us, because you know, we're trying to play good defense, but then when they still get a shot off and they still make the shot, it's like we sunk and, you know, we just couldn't get up.
And, Coach, when it wasn't Jessica pressuring their point guards in the backcourt, it was Gia Navarra. Mm-hmm. Are there other players that you call on for the press? And do you guys like to stay with, like, a single press as opposed to maybe what Carthage was doing, bringing, like, 3 or 4 girls in the backcourt?
Well, when we get full court pressure, it's usually man-to-man pressure, and sometimes we give our guards freedom to trap and kind of read off of that. But, you know, we just haven't been a full court press zone type press team this season. But we do have people like Jessica and Gia. Amber Sabrario is a smart defender that way, and Nicole Kemi. You know, really, those 4 guards can really give good pressure. And if we're playing someone who we feel like their guards struggle with that pressure, then we like to give it to them in the full court. So to make them take longer to bring it up and slower to get into their half-court offense. Just like Coach Bernaro said, you know, we wanted them to have time taken off the clock so they didn't have as much time to run their half-court set.
Lastly, Meghan, as we said earlier, you're playing your best basketball of the year. Do you think the Cardinals are going to make it into that top 4?
I do. I like that we get to decide it ourselves. We get to play Milliken, and that is a game that basically if we win and, you know, Wesleyan takes care of Elmhurst on next Tuesday, then it's in our hands, and I love that being how it ends the season.
And that Milliken game is at home, so we need to come out and support the Cardinals.
Yeah.
We'd like to thank Jessica, Meghan, and Coach Kendra Hunter for joining us, and stay tuned for Tusher's Timeout. We'll be right back.